So, is this thing ever gonna end? Will life ever go back to normal? Probably not gonna be anytime soon at this point. So, let's watch another virus movie. This time, I revisited the appropriately titled Cabin Fever, which was originally released in 2002. I saw this one in theaters back then, and the hype was insane. This was said to be an ultra-violent and scary throwback to 80s horror. Well, it did not live up to the hype. Cabin Fever opens with a homeless guy attempting to feed his dog. Well, the poor thing is dead from a flesh-eating disease. So he gets contaminated, and we then meet a group of pretty obnoxious friends. Among them is Shawn Hunter himself from the 90s comedy Boy Meets World. So the friends rent a cabin in the woods for a weekend of fun. Along the way, they meet some bizarre townsfolk, including a little mullet-haired boy named Dennis with a penchant for biting people. So they finally arrive at the cabin and screw around. We even get a scene where director Eli Roth shows up in a cameo.
Is a doctor like a physician or a professor?
Yeah, he's a professor. Of being a dog? Ooh, faced!
Okay, so the diseased bum finally shows up again, and the movie gets interesting, especially in these post-corona times. The guy is clearly sick and contagious. The group starts out wanting to help him, but things quickly worsen.
No. There's no way this fucking contagious fucker's coming in here.
Bert, he's sick for Christ's sake.
No!
If someone showed up on your doorstep sick and in need of help, what would you do? Probably wouldn't set the poor person on fire, but I found this entire sequence fascinating, especially in today's context, with people wearing masks and gloves at the store and standing 6 feet apart from each other. So after this, the vehicle is toast and the group sets out to find help. We meet more bizarre characters, including Deputy Olson, who apparently just wants to party.
Your top priority. You're the party man. Do you realize how many great parties we're gonna have?
We discover that the diseased bum ended up in the town water source, so the sickness spreads to the friends. We get another interesting scene with the group forcing a sick Karen outside, a quarantine if you will. Again, the sequence takes on a whole other level watching it now during a raging pandemic. So everyone is increasingly careless as the flesh-eating virus spreads, and, interestingly enough, only the jerk of the group really has the right idea. He takes a case of beer and heads off to self-isolate, which, apparently, a lot of people are doing in real life during this pandemic. The bizarre humor and scenes continue when a sick Bert goes to town for help. He finds Dennis again, and this happens.
Pancakes!
No pancakes!
Kid's got some good moves. So Dennis's dad and some rednecks now blame Bert for getting Dennis sick, and they decide to go after him. Characters make baffling decisions, like poking a diseased dead body with a stick, and having unprotected sex. And then there's the scene where Paul goes out to Karen's shed and finds her half dead. Keep in mind during this scene that Paul has feelings for her, and he has a rifle. Again, he has a rifle. Use that instead of a freaking shovel. The ending is also pretty weak, with our lead basically just being dumped in a ditch off-screen, left for dead. And then the movie ends on a bizarre joke, which was set up earlier in the film, concerning an old shopkeeper. The problem I had with Cabin Fever when I saw it in theaters 18 years ago, and even now, is the humor. If the movie had taken itself more seriously and toned down all the weirdness, I would have liked it more. But it's just so insane. Many scenes feel like an inside joke that we just aren't in on. The film has developed a bit of a cult following over the years, and I'm sure it's largely due to the crazy humor, but I personally found it off-putting, and it only succeeded in taking me out of the movie. There are some excellent gore effects, a nice musical score, and tons of nods to past horror movies, which I did appreciate. In the end, I didn't hate Cabin Fever, I just thought it was okay, and that's it. 2 sequels and a shot-for-shot remake followed. I actually did see part 2 years ago, and I remember liking it more than the first one, but I barely remember it now, so I'll have to check it out again. So, that concludes this Corona Lockdown review, and as always, stay safe, and until my next transmission, this is Steve, signing off.